The Prime Minister is reportedly asking for an assessment, or what some people are calling an audit, quite frankly, of how the war in Ukraine is going and what difference British supplies are making. Some people are basically saying, hang on a second, you, being counter, don't look at the pennies, there's a war to win. Other people are saying, thank goodness, finally, a bit of common sense, rather than just opening the window and chucking a load of money out, quite frankly, and not checking what it's doing. Finally, someone taking account of stuff. Dominique, where are you?
I think this is necessary, but I don't necessarily think that we're going to suddenly have some clarity, take a step back and say, wait a minute, you know, we're in a cost of living crisis, we've got a border crisis, we've got staff wanting to strike left, right and centre because they can't afford to live, and we are sending 2.3 billion in aid to Ukraine, its second biggest donor. And the thing is, it's happening in the USA as well. People are saying, hey, wait a minute, I think we actually need an audit to find out where our money is going. Republicans narrowly lost a vote recently to really see what the over 60 billion in funding is actually being put to. And it's a fact that the US actually don't know where all this money is going. A Pentagon senior ex-advisor even said that there were concerns that some of the weapons that the US was sending Ukraine was actually being sold on the black market because many of their troops actually don't know how to use them. So, you know, this isn't a conspiracy theory. We need to know where the money is going.
Diane says, Michelle, it's very disappointing the way that you speak about Ukraine. You are encouraging resentment towards our support. Lots of Brits like me have supported Ukraine refugees in our homes. We want to support Ukraine because innocent people are being slaughtered on our doorsteps, and those who do not die freeze. Please, she says, stop stoking resentment. Diana, I'm very sorry that you feel that way. I absolutely wouldn't stoke any resentment or hatred towards any Ukrainians that absolutely need shelter and help from this terrible situation. What I'm pondering tonight is whether or not there's a common sense approach being used when it comes to our finances and the way that they are being sent over to Ukraine. Kevin, where do you stand?
Rishi is a bean counter, a technocrat, a bureaucrat. It indicates his shallow politics. It's pathetic, full stop. Now, I don't particularly like Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak, but let me tell you why I would respect Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson looked at the war in Ukraine and he turned around and he said that actually here's a people's freedom being taken away by Russia. Here's a country's self-determination being taken away by an aggressor. This is a seminal moment. And what he did was he threw the kitchen sink at it. Now, whether you like him or not or agree with him politically, I don't agree with him politically in most things. I respect the fact that he took a stand on that. And at the end of the day, you don't get out your spreadsheets and your data assessments,
yes,
etc. Hold on. Yeah, you don't get your data and your spreadsheets out. That's not how you... If you believe in something, if you have a commitment to something like he did and like some people do to the freedom of Ukraine, you don't pack it in halfway through because it's costing you money. You know, it's like straight out of the school of like amateur economics, you do a cost-benefit analysis. A cost-benefit analysis? Are we talking values? Are we talking ideology? Are we talking commitment?
I'm sorry, that's just nonsense. In any war, you have to have a cost...
No, you're talking nonsense.
No, you are.
Being counter-approach to nonsense.
Just like on looking at this at a logical level. Of course, you're going to have to partake in cost-benefit analysis when you're throwing billions at another country and you factually don't know where all that money is going.
Okay, so let me be very, very clear.
Like, come on.
The difference between us is, see your so-called logical cost-benefit analysis. It's not an approach I share. This is called politics. And what you do is you throw the frigging kitchen sink.
But that's
if
politics.
you believe, hold on, if you believe a country's freedom is being taken away by a totalitarian dictatorship that's trying to expand itself across Europe, then you make a stand. Now, I don't agree politically with certain approaches of NATO and Boris Johnson in Ukraine, but I do respect the fact that he's got a better politics than the shallow bean counter mentality of this fella, Rishi.
No, I don't agree. I think that Boris's approach to Ukraine, I think he's been radicalised, personally. I don't think he's thinking clearly. I think that he's using Ukraine as an attempt to sort of salvage his marred reputation, personally. I think that it's disgusting that he seems more concerned with Ukraine. And look, I completely understand what is happening. It's a war, but it's not the first war, and it certainly won't be the last. There's people dying, being bombed all over the world right now. Ukraine isn't the only country in the world that is being bombed.
Michelle,
and let's get realistic here.
Michelle.
Ukraine is being used as a proxy by the West to fight Russia. Now, whether or not you agree with that, the West is very much just as responsible for those deaths as Russia is, in my opinion.